Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. This episode, we're going to try and add Minecraft movie. Wait, hold up. I listened to last episode and Bobby kind of threw me under the bus and said, hey, sometimes we don't want to add things to people's backlog because I played Leisure Suit Larry. So I think if you played Leisure Suit Larry from that episode, I know at least one person did. You need to tell us. Throw that in Bobby's face. Take that, Bobby. We're also going to talk about League of Legends, Mass Effect 1. But first, my name is Christian.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Taylor.
Nice. And it is true. So I listened to a podcast from a guy who reviews movies, and the ones that he trashes are always the ones I want to see. So I would not be surprised if someone listened to last week's episode and was like, I got to check out this Leisure Suit Larry for myself.
Yeah, we can't trust Bobby. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, Taylor's joining us. He looks like Jesus. We're recording this over the Easter weekend. I'm going to find some eggs with my wife and daughter in the park. But we have nothing Easter themed for this episode. So, sorry, he is risen. But we do ping things, and we're just noting something interesting. And Bobby's going to start us off sitting his butt down on something new, maybe?
Yep, I got a new chair. So this is my first, well, not my first new chair, but this is the chair that I got to replace. This is the first chair I've ever sat in.
Prior to this, always standing.
Always standing.
Or crouching.
Yes, or on one of those weird little ball things.
Yeah, oh God, those are. If I go into someone's office and I see someone sitting on those, I'm like, I'm fucking in trouble here.
Yeah, I always want to stab those like that opening scene in The Office. But yeah, I got a new chair. So I had a DX Racer that I bought in 2016, I believe. And I had been sitting on that for a long time. I recently moved to a new place. I'm in a new little office here that is very small, not a lot of room, but just enough room, just the right size. I had the door closed, the window shut, and I left my chair in there. And then one day I came in, I opened it up and I thought, wow, that chair smells terrible. Like there is an aroma there because it is in such a small space. And then I thought, yeah, I have had this for like 9 years, never washed it. It's got some weird stains and stuff on it. I'm like a pretty clean person, but for some reason I have just never paid attention to this chair. And I think it was because this GX Racer was so comfortable. I bought it for like $300. It was their like plain cloth model, the cheapest one you can get. And it was just such a fantastic chair. But I've kind of moved on from gaming chairs. I know a lot of people like to get the cool gaming chairs that look like a
race car.
Yeah, like a race car seat. And those are really comfortable, but I'm going with a Herman Miller this time, like an office chair. This is a Herman Miller Mira 2. I got one for me and one for my girlfriend, and that is what we are sitting on now. It's got mesh, which is very breathable. I like that, and also easy to clean. I think the big problem with the cloth one is it's not very easy to clean.
No, not at all. And this isn't going to hold your stink either. Like you're going to
it passes
flow right through it.
Just going to wash right off. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sitting on a mesh Herman Miller myself right now.
Oh shit!
Is that an
you guys are both Herman.
What type do you have?
It is. Now I'm on the spot. I don't remember the exact one. I got it from one of those like office. It's like a big warehouse where they just sell old office furniture.
Yeah, when they liquidate like offices, these warehouses. I got it from the same place. I saw them on eBay. They wanted like $375 a piece. I was like, how about 2 for $300? And they're like, deal.
Art of the deal.
Like an Albanian. It's like an Albanian guy that you're chatting with at the warehouse. And
it worked out. I mean, I was able to go there, pick out the ones that I wanted, and I'm happy with the chair. It does really force me to work on my posture, though, and I'm not sure how I feel about that yet.
Oh, dude, I noticed it. You're like,
you can
like
see it right now. If you're watching the show, you can see the shoulders are straight. Like it's a different look here. I feel very formal. I feel like I'm addressing the nation here. But yeah, and that's not really how I used to sit in my chair. I usually do like one leg up on my NAS and like the other one like tucked underneath and my spine totally askew. It's terrible. So I think this is going to take some getting used to for me, but I think overall it is going to be very beneficial. But Herman Miller is like the pinnacle of office chairs, I think. I know a lot of people will argue Steelcase is very good, but either way, this is like a step away from the gaming chairs. So we're going to see how that goes. I feel like I'm all grown up now, and I'm sitting in my big boy office chair. You know, I'm not messing around with my RGB LED
any of that
DX Racer
kid shit. Yeah.
Drinking on Mountain Dew.
I would get a DX. I would get a gaming chair with all this stuff if it had like air conditioning as well. That's what I want.
I need to be cool.
A cool,
like
active cooling.
Active cooling. Yeah.
Well, I think what they do make very large Herman Miller chairs too, but I think a lot of the gaming chairs, they cater towards some of the heavier people. So like, you know, you can get those Titans that support like a lot of weight. So I think a lot of people like those just because they may be bigger and they're more comfortable, and like the padding will hold up more. But yeah, so far, I mean, I'm like days into this chair. So I can't really give like a full-blown report on it just yet, but it's an adjustment. I'll tell you that.
I'm looking forward to at the end of the show. What are we playing next week? And then next week, Bobby's like, I'm going to give my formal chair review.
Yeah.
That'll be enough time. All right, cool. Taylor, what are you picking this week?
This week, Baldur's Gate 3, our game of the year, was it the year before last? The final patch has come out, patch 8. Mm-hmm. Larian has said, this is it, we're done. We may do some bug fixes, but aside from that, Baldur's Gate 3 is finished. And in patch 8, we get a ton of new stuff. There is crossplay with consoles and PC now.
Oh,
there, including mods. It's pretty cool. There's 12, count them, 12 new subclasses.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
No, Bob. Okay, we'll go. Yeah.
I want you to name every subclass, detailed explanation on each one. Just go into like an absurd level of detail.
Yeah.
Wow. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, could happen. Yeah.
But yeah, so we get 12 new subclasses, a bunch of new spells to go with them, photo mode, and they even, for the modders out there, added partial level editing support. I don't really know what that means. I'm not a modder, but it's probably good. So
nice.
Anyway, Baldur's Gate 3, one of our favorite games, one of my personal favorite games, is it's done. This is it.
It's cool that they tied the bow on it, kind of, you know? Like, they're like, yep, this is it.
I'd be interested to see what comes out of their level editing support for modders.
Yeah.
So back in the day, a long time ago, if anyone remembers, there was someone on the podcast named Mini Del Macho, and he was very into Divinity Original Sin, and he created, this was on the first game, not the second one. On the first one, he created a level for me and Emilio to play, and we played it. And I don't know if it was like he didn't put much effort into it or he just didn't have the tools, but it wasn't very good. It didn't quite work, and it didn't, I don't know. It just wasn't very good from what I remember. This was a very long time ago. So I'm wondering if you can do something like that in Baldur's Gate 3 and what tools they give you to do it. Because people could come up with some really cool stuff.
Like a custom thing. Like we can make a character for Emilio and he has to like pee. He has to take a break from combat and he has to like pee in the bushes or something. I don't know.
That would be kind of fun. Yeah, every third turn he's incapacitated, or like one hand is occupied. But I'm not entirely sure that it is that full on. In Divinity Original Sin, it's called like DM mode, which I don't think it's to that degree. Neverwinter Nights was another one that had a like super robust like level building and DM experience, but this specifically they said partial level editing. So
yeah. Okay. Well, that's exciting. Guys, by the way, I built a PC. It's not actually fully assembled yet, but I'm in the process of building a PC. And I got a lot of parts from PC Part Picker, thanks to Taylor, thanks to Zap in our community, Recycle in our community. A couple other people, I think, pointed some stuff out. Because I don't know what any of these numbers or what most of these numbers or terms mean. I'm just going to read you the partlet. It's an Intel Core i7 14700KF. What is the KF? Does that need?
K unlocked. K is unlocked, which means you can overclock it.
Okay.
The F means that it doesn't come with a fan.
Oh, and it doesn't. Okay, perfect. 20 core processors. I was trying to count them. I couldn't see any cores, but I assume they're in there somewhere. MSI Core Liquid. This is my first time building a PC with liquid cooling. In my head, I thought this had like a big tank of water, and I had no idea. I really had no idea that it was just, so simple to set up.
You have to get new saline pouches once a month.
Do you have? Fuck, dude. No, I have to spit in it too. I got a Wi-Fi motherboard, LGA 1700. I have no idea. I don't know what that means. But I have never had a Wi-Fi computer before now, so that's awesome. So I can take my computer to the living room to play Pummel Party or wherever else, like we were talking about on some episodes before. 64 gigabytes RAM. I guess that means I can go as fast as your new Herman Miller chairs. I don't know. I'm going to be so fast. This podcast, listen to it at 3 times speed if you can keep up.
Well, that's the size of your RAM. That means you can do a lot of things at once. The speed is actually that DDR5 6000 and then your CL CAS.
Is that
latency.
good?
CAS latency.
So
it's DDR5, which is very new.
So am I 6,000?
Fast? So what you're going to want to do is when you put this all together, it's probably not going to default to DDR5 6000. You're going to need to go into the BIOS or the UEFI, they call it now, and choose an XMP profile to set it to 6,000.
It is.
Oh
it's
my gosh.
A lot of acronyms.
It's very easy to do.
Okay.
You just have to do it once.
I'll look it up.
But a lot of people miss that and wonder why their RAM is slow.
Oh, that's great. I'm in good company. And now I'm smarter. Well, thanks, guys. I also have a terabyte. So it's M.2, which I think I understand, but then 2280. What is the 2280?
It's the size of the chip that it's on or the model of it. So the 2280 is the standard size for an M.2 drive.
It's like the die size.
An NVMe? Solids. What is NVMe?
Non-volatile memory. I can't remember what the E stands for.
The E stands for either, but basically that is the type of SSD that is not using SATA ports. It is using PCI Express lanes.
Yeah, and I know what that is.
It's much faster.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fast drive. I don't know what you're using now, but I don't know if you have an NVMe drive. You probably have a SATA SSD or something. I can't remember when you built this computer, but this will be much faster. I think PCIe 5.0 is the newest, latest one, but
the latest,
motherboard may not support that.
Well, anyways, all these nerds, I'm referring to the nerds as the other parts of my computer because obviously the graphics card is the only thing that matters. Vroom. It's a Gigabyte Eagle OCS GeForce RTX 5070 12 gigabyte video card. Okay, so the 5070, the 12 gigabytes of VRAM, I'm on the same page. What is the Eagle OCSFF? What does that mean? Why did they put that there?
OC is probably overclocked. SFF is usually small form factor, but I don't know for a graphics card. I don't know if that applies, but I don't know. That's probably just some branding that Gigabyte gave it. That's going to be a good card.
It is. Okay. I think they call it Eagle because it catches frames like an eagle catches a hare.
Really? That's great. Okay, cool. And then I got the Fractal Design Pop Air ATX mid tower case. This is actually the exact same tower case I used to build my previous computer. And I'm on the Fractal Design train because all that time ago, Fractal Josh was on this podcast and you guys made a computer with a fractal case, and then I went down the rabbit hole of like why that case was cool. Yeah, and I don't know.
I have the fractal torrent, and I love it.
Yeah,
it's a great case.
Hey, if you're working at a brand, or you are a brand, if you are 3 people in a trench coat that are fractal design, you can sponsor us, and 6 years later, someone will build a computer, at least one person, with your case.
We did build that computer. To
eventually
be clear, we did build it.
Yeah, a year later or whatever. Or no, it was the video that took a year.
The computer got built. The video didn't come out.
Right. I say we, but it wasn't we. Thermaltaki Tough Power GF1. It says 2024. That must mean it's new. But basically, I don't know what any of that means. 750 watt, 80 plus gold certified. I think I know what that is. Do you guys know what Thermaltaki Tough Power GF1 is?
That's just the brand name.
Just the
brand. But it sounds
name.
like a Japanese candy.
Yeah. What happened to like Zellers as a brand? Like, let's get to the simple, guys. Why shouldn't be 3 words in your brand name? Anyways,
the gold plus certification though is important.
Right. That's how efficient it is. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the 80 plus on the power supply means that it's going to operate at 80% efficiency when it's using a certain amount of wattage. I can't remember what.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, gold plus is going to be fine. Plus, it's fully modular. That'll make things easier inside the case. You won't have a bunch of extra cables that you don't need. I'm just curious, though, like the RTX 5070, I don't know anything about the newer line of NVIDIA cards, but is a 750 watt power supply going to be enough for that? It was a big question for me when I built my computer and I got the 4080 and I had an 850 watt power supply and I thought I was like just barely cutting it for that one.
On PC Part Picker, which is what I was going off of, it said it was enough, but I don't actually know the specifics of how much room I have.
You should be fine. So the 70,
I think you're fine.
Yeah, the 70s tend to, they're like a little bit lower than the 80s. So like a 4080 is going to use up more juice. But I think the newer cards too, unless you go with like the 5090, which, I mean, you need like a nuclear reactor to power that thing. But if you go with the 5070, I think 750 will be okay.
And your Core i7, the 14700 KF is more power hungry than, like a 10-year-old processor, but they're a lot more efficient than you might think. So,
right.
And with power supplies, ideally, you do want to have your PC in this kind of sweet spot where you're not, hitting the cap, the max, but you want to be within like the 80% range to get peak efficiency.
Peak. Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for explaining acronyms to me. I live in the shadow of your intelligence, and I'm very excited for this PC to go together. I hope it turns on. I get about 35 minutes of free time at the end of every day, so I've been like, first thing I'll do is put the RAM in, and then the next thing I'll do is do the water cooling, and then it's slowly coming together. So
as you're putting it together, so this is a question that I have for anyone who's listening. When you put the RAM sticks in and you they click, you got to push them in pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
Am I the only one who sometimes feels like, oh no, I'm using too much pressure, I'm going to break it?
I felt like that. I literally felt like that. I was like, oh, this doesn't feel good. But then I heard the click and I was like, okay, that was as hard.
And you're like,
as I had to.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's not just me.
Bobby, ever break a board with those Wolverine muscles of yours putting RAM sticks in?
No, you can tell which way they're supposed to go in there by the little notch. I was working on a computer a long, long time ago with a friend, and he was not grounded, and he touched the board, and we were on carpet, and he zapped it and fried one of the, I don't even think it was a PCI Express slot. I think it was an AGP slot. This is how long ago that was.
Wow.
But it's the only time, they always say whenever you work on a computer, you got to have your anti-static wrist strap on. And nobody ever wears that.
No one does it.
I touch the side of the case and try to stay grounded, but that was the only time I've ever seen. And all the times I've worked on a computer or seen someone work on a computer, That's the only time I've ever seen someone fry something with electrostatic discharge.
Nice. Oh, from the pre-show, Fry's. Is that a U.S. fast food chain? Fry's, Frys.
That's an electronics store where you would buy these.
Are they still around though?
Components.
The one in San Diego has been gone for a long time, but I don't know if they exist
anywhere. One
anywhere.
in Dallas, still hanging on.
If you guys want to know why I brought that up, you got to be a patron. That's the only way to get to the pre-show. Okay, highlights. Games that we're going to add to your radar that we've been playing this week. Or maybe not games. Maybe this is a free fucking section to put whatever the hell we want. What did you eat today? Maybe that's something we could put on the highlight. Anyways, Bobby, tell us about the Minecraft movie.
I'm talking about the Minecraft movie today, and it's crazy that we haven't talked about this yet because it is literally the biggest thing happening in gaming right now. And if you don't think so, then you're old and out of touch like me.
Dude, okay.
Because
I know you had this prepared. I'm really interrupting, but I was at mini golf the other day and 12 kids are on their way into the mini golf and they're all going chicken, banana in a line, like perfect behind the mom. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And she's just like, the Minecraft movie. And I'm like, okay.
It's a whole thing. And it's amazing how like I can ignore a lot of this because I don't work at a school site anymore. And, you know, I'm older. I'm just not around kids. So I really don't know what's happening and what's hip. But this is like, it's a big deal. This movie has grossed over about $163 million on its opening, beating the Super Mario Brothers movie. This is like the first movie in history to open over 50 million on a Friday, then sell more tickets on a Saturday. Like this is the biggest movie that Jason Momoa has ever done. This is the biggest movie Jack Black has ever done.
That's
like
crazy.
Financially speaking, this movie just like exploded. And what is crazy about that is leading up to this movie, I remember seeing a lot of like hate memes and articles and YouTube videos about how this movie was going to be all terrible. Pretty much the Borderlands treatment. Yeah, you know, you guys didn't see that? I don't know.
I didn't see that online.
I saw a little bit on Reddit, I guess, but no, your algorithm must be full of spiteful people.
Yeah, you're pretty spiteful.
Well, I follow a lot of like movie stuff on YouTube. So, you know how YouTube is, it tries to feed you all the triggering stuff. So I was, I probably got a lot of that. But yeah, that stuff is definitely out there and it's still out there, even though the movie is done so well. You know, the critical reviews are not great. It's not like the critics are like, wow, this is a fascinating piece of art here. No, it's a kid's movie. It's just like, you know, it's something that kids are going to see in droves and then just going crazy and wrecking theaters. There's some like viral video of someone bringing a live chicken to one of them. And these are not kids too. These are like, I don't know.
20-somethings.
Yeah, but 20-somethings are still kind of like kids to me these days. Like when I see 20-year-olds, I'm like, you got a long way to go, buddy.
But there are adults, working adults, college graduates who grew up on Minecraft today.
Well, a lot of people play Minecraft and still do. I mean, it is just like a cultural touchstone, even outside of gaming now for so many people. But not for me though. So when I went into this movie, I was pretty blind. I didn't get a lot of the references, except maybe the General Chungus one. I think I understand that, but who knows? But what was very interesting to me was this movie is directed by Jared Hess. He's the guy who directed Napoleon Dynamite and you know, Nacho Libre and those other movies. Yeah. So whenever I see this, I'm like, okay, we've got a big budget movie, a well-known IP, and a director who's known for a very unique style. I wonder how much creative control they're going to have. And usually what happens in this movie is you can see little flares of the director in here, little touches of it. But at the end of the day, it's still just a very generic movie meant for kids. But that being a similar thing happened last summer when I went to see that new Alien movie, Alien Romulus. Now the director of that is this guy named Fede Alvarez, who I think he's from, I'm going to mess this up, Argentina. I could be wrong. Somewhere in South America, I believe. But he had this like really cool viral video that I think Sam Raimi saw and was like, we got to get this guy on board. Next thing you know, he's directing that new Evil Dead remake, which was awesome. And he always just like, he knew how to make a good movie. And then he does this big budget thing and it was just like, ugh, oh my God, man, like what happened? But then you see little bits of him here and there where like, oh, that totally works. But you know, it's the system. Like when you're working with something like Minecraft, they're going to have some notes. All right. You're not going to be able to just do whatever you want.
The studio is also going to be partially directing, especially Jared Hess is I know we're not a movie podcast, but Jared Hess is a really fascinating choice for a director for this project. And
I think it worked. I mean, obviously, financially, it worked. I'm sure they're very happy with what he's done with it. Like I said, it's a movie for kids. It's about Minecraft. Like as soon as they entered the Minecraft world, I kind of tuned out a little bit and couldn't pay much attention, but there were some very funny things in it. Just overall, Jason Momoa's character. So he plays this like old has-been gamer from the 80s. I'm trying to think of like an analogous person, kind of like Billy Mitchell, maybe a little bit, but on steroids. And he was really good at this game called Hunk City Rampage, which was like this brawler beat 'em up. And I was like, I want to play that game. That actually looks like let's make a movie about that game, Hunk City Rampage. But like I said, there were some bits in this movie where I could see the director's little flair. Like there's a part in the movie where Jason Momoa's character is talking. He comes clean, you know, in all movies this happens. Like he's had financial troubles. He's not as cool as he's been acting this whole time. And you know, he's like flat broke or whatever. And then Jack Black delivers this line that he just says, "I'm sorry about your finances." And I'm like, that's like, I'm not doing the line justice, but that's such like a Napoleon Dynamite-esque one. And plus there's this whole subplot though, where a villager leaves the Minecraft world, enters the real world, and then starts this romantic relationship with Jennifer Coolidge. And it's like, it's the best part of the movie. And then of course, at the end, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. There's this little bit where they defeat Malgosha, who is like the big bad enemy. And I don't know who these people are, and you probably don't either. So I'm sorry for going into all this detail. But they defeat the big bad enemy, and she's like, "Hey, wait a minute, come closer. I need to tell you something." And Jack Black's like, "Do you have a little knife that you're going to try to stab me with?" I'm like, why does nobody ever call that out in a movie? You know? And she's like, no, I swear not. And then he gets closer, and then she pulls out a little knife and tries to stab him, and it's like pathetic and funny. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's some bits in the movie that I thought were okay. But like, honestly, if you're an adult and you haven't played that much Minecraft, you could probably skip this one unless you have kids. Then you're probably going to have to. Well, you're probably going to have to take them.
Rianne sent me a reel on Instagram, and she was like, what are your thoughts on here? And it was one of the ones where like the kids were going crazy, throwing popcorn everywhere. But they were also like chanting at certain times in the movie. And it reminded me a lot of, fuck, I really should. What's that horrible movie where you throw spoons at the screen? I Love You, San Francisco.
The Room.
The Room, yeah. It's like going to see The Room in person, and there's all these, you know, traditions that you do when you see it, and it makes you really feel like you're a part of the audience, and it's like participatory.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
And I thought that's what these kids were doing, and I thought that's fucking kind of cool, dude. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, going to a theater is a communal experience, and that's what I love about it. So, you know, when I go and like, things happen and people like do weird things, I'm not just like, everybody quiet down, you know, we're trying to watch the movie. When I went to the theater to see the Sonic movie, it was like that as well. I mean, not to this degree, but it was still kind of like that. But I don't know. I find that stuff kind of fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
I mean, that is part of the movie going experience, you know, like I agree with you there. It's a communal activity. There should be, especially in a kids movie, they should be having fun. Let kids be kids.
And Bobby, when you went, was there any of that? Like, did people do the little kid traditions?
Not to the degree. So I saw it. This came out April 4th or 5th. So I saw it weeks later. It had died down a little bit. So it definitely, there were a lot of kids for sure, but like not. It wasn't anything like you're going to see on like TikTok or YouTube or the.
It wasn't opening weekend.
Got it.
Yeah.
Hijinks.
But yeah, man, and I wonder what they're going to do with it. Obviously, it makes this much money. 100% we're seeing a sequel, right? They call it a Minecraft movie. They kind of leave it open like there's probably going to be another one. So I don't know. I guess get ready for the sequel, folks.
Okay.
Just real quick question, because I haven't seen the movie, but is this one of those like the new Jumanji where like people in our real world get sucked into a video game world?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And like Barbie too. It's about to be a trope, people, if it's not already. That's cool. Yeah, that'll be burned into my memory forever, seeing those like dozen kids do chicken banana in a line. Like so orderly. Like that shit was great. Like good for them. Taylor, speaking about chickens in a line, I don't know. What are you talking about?
There are chickens in this game, kind of. I am talking about League of Legends today. It is, or at least at one point was, the world's most popular PC game.
Hitting us with the facts. I like that.
Yeah. The first MOBA to hit the mainstream, like first standalone MOBA to hit the mainstream. Heroes of Newerth did come out before it, but that's... I mean, if you know what I'm talking about there, props. So, you know, I've been playing this game off and on since it launched in beta back in 2009. So I have a long history with this game. And it's one of those things where it's almost a reflection of where my mental state is if I'm playing this game.
Right.
You know, it's like I'll load up the game and it just instantly transports me back. It's like a nostalgia time warp back to being anywhere between like 16 and 21.
Mm-hmm.
And like drinking, you know, like staying up all night with my friends, drinking and playing video games, and like that kind of mindset. And it kind of just takes me back to the like feeling 22 again.
In like a positive way, it sounds like.
In a positive way, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah.
So I am not good enough at the game these days to like play it all the time. It's enough of a time sink that I just don't have the time like I did back then. But it's still fun to occasionally, you know, check in on the game and see what's going on.
Yeah.
So, you know, probably two or three times a year, I'll log into League of Legends and play for a week. And what I think is really interesting over this long period of time that the game has been around is, one, the like world of media that they've built around this game.
Yeah.
So we've got like Arcane, you know, like the TV show Arcane.
One of the best animated shows maybe ever. Like it's from League of Legends, which is
amazing. Like my grandmother was telling me she watched Arcane, you know, like just
Worlds
a cultural phenomena.
Yeah.
This amazing thing. And then there were like, you know, then there's things like Teamfight Tactics, which I know, Christian, you play occasionally. Mm-hmm. They have a digital card game. They have these standalone games that have been coming out recently, like The Ruined King and Nunu's Story.
Nunu's Story?
Yeah, one of the champs in League of Legends is called Nunu, and he rides a big monster called Willump.
Okay.
And he throws snowballs at people. And
this is like a standalone game of
yes.
Of his.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice.
It's like to explain how they met and became friends and like why they're a champ. The lore has been revised many times over the years since it was in beta. But that is one of the issues that I have with this game too. And it is that because it's been around so long, there are 170 champions.
Unbelievable.
in this game.
By the way,
170. And so to play this game at a, any level of competency, right? Like what someone would consider, to be a competent League of Legends player, you're going to need to be familiar with all 170 champions and what they do in order to, to play against them or play as them. And then there are, hundreds of items. There is runes, which are things that you, like little like skill trees that you pick out for your character.
That really fucked me up playing League of Legends for the first time, by the way. I just didn't understand it at all. I was like, what do you mean there's this other thing other than items? Yeah.
There was, when I first started playing, like, this is just me showing my age, I guess. But like, I started in the beta period before all the champs were out, and I actually bought the physical release when it released into 1.0.
That might be worth like a little bit right now.
It is. I looked. That came with a skin. It was just a recolor of one of the champions, Kale, Silver Kale. And just because I have that skin that you could only get if you bought the free game physically, makes my account, if I were to like break terms of service and sell it, it's worth like over $1,000.
Nuts, but very cool.
But that is one of these things where the game seems to be at this point now, and the community seems to be realizing this too, where there's no new players. So it may be the most popular PC game of all time, but at the same time, it seems as though it's kind of stuck in stasis,
right?
In a way, and Riot, the developers, are trying to figure out a way to bring in new audiences, change things up. They're making these other games, so Valorant has been a big success for them, and they're branching out with other media projects like Arcane and all this other stuff, because I think if you think about it in one sense, you've already got a bunch of people playing your game. Like, it's the most popular PC game. But then you get to this point now where it's just so impenetrable to pick up. Like, as a new player, I wouldn't know where to begin. It would be a totally crazy, like...
So do you think this is what I suspect, but maybe do you think they're catering more towards their player base that they already have, not trying to incorporate new players? Because I don't know. I don't know they probably know what's going to make them the most money, but it does seem like they keep adding and adding and adding. They add new characters, they add new, not really mechanics, but like things that you have to do even outside of the game, like the runes and other stuff. There's like so many different types of currency. Like and plus that's just a very old style play model like that.
They kind of pioneered that as a service genre of game. They were one of the first live service games with
to go down,
these different currencies and everything. But I do think that they kind of are catering to that audience, like you said. For instance, there's a character in the game called Skarner. He's a scorpion. He's a monster character. And he has had a total of, I think, 5 skins released for him over 11 years. Meanwhile, the hot humanoid female characters are getting, like 5 skins a year. So they definitely, there's a demographic that they are targeting,
catering to.
And you can see it in in the way that they sell their skins and how they run their like events that go on around the, like their esports tournaments and stuff. Like they lean heavily into like Korean pop bands. Like they made all the characters, or well, they took the 4 hottest chicks from the game and made them into a Korean pop
K-pop
band.
Yeah.
K-pop band. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that it is such a fascinating thing of like, I've been playing this game for 16 years. And that is quite literally half of my life.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I
Totally.
am turning 32 soon. And so this game will have been around and I will have been playing it for half of my life. And my question to you both, but also to the community, is: do you have a game like that? Is there something that has grown with you?
Man, I think Warcraft 3 custom maps are probably the closest thing, but I haven't touched them. I mean, I used to go back at least a couple times a year just to see what was going on, but yeah, even that is I'm kind of sad I don't really have a game like that I've been playing for so long and just pick it up like a random week in 2025 and be like, oh yes, home. No, definitely not. Yeah. How about you, Bobby?
No, not a good one. So like God, for that long, I'd
16
say
years.
Because for a game like that, you'd need to have, I'm thinking of a game, not like Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. I don't think that really counts. That's a game I go back to every couple of years and continue to play. But I think we're talking more about like a live game, a game as a service, something with a community. And the closest thing I have to that is probably Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing since Team Fortress Classic. Team Fortress 2 came out, like 07 or something like that. But that's one that I always go back to. But still, I don't really feel like I'm part of the community there. So I don't know.
That's interesting. Team Fortress 2, definitely, I can see that. And I bet a lot of people are in that boat too. And it's older even than League of Legends is. But I definitely I would love to hear from our community too. If any of you guys listening have that kind of experience where like, this has been part of my life. Like, this is a big thing for me personally.
It's probably going to be a lot of World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious to see. So like, hit us up on the Discord or email us at like pixelshitshow@gmail.com. Let us know. I would really like to know what kind of games people have kind of grown up with, because I think this ties back into your Minecraft movie. Like these 22-year-olds that are going to the Minecraft movie and bringing live chickens. Minecraft has probably been around
their game since they were 11 or 12.
Life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
it's ruined an entire generation.
I'm lucky. For me, it was League of Legends and not Minecraft, I guess.
Yeah, and his account is worth $1,000. Take that, Minecraft nerds. No, that's super cool, dude. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I am excited to hear. I hope one person who listens to the show is still playing Warcraft 3 custom maps, because
me too.
Yeah, that would be very
That's how
wholesome.
we met, Christian and I.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And so many people that I met through Warcraft 3, like very formative time in my life. And I think the cool thing with the custom maps is that, they offer a variety of experiences and people can really be creative. And I think that's exactly what Minecraft offers too, with all these custom modes and like Roblox and everything like that. Yeah, it's just kids having fun,
and you can get
man.
invited to someone else's world where they've set up a whole thing for you to do.
Yeah. Super cool. I'm going to be talking about something a little less cool, I think, which is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Hey, if you're not part of the program, my goal is to beat all 3 Mass Effect games this year. By the way, I have a new child. She's 6 months old a couple days ago, so I don't know if this is going to happen because I have not as much time as I once had. But yeah, it's everyone's favorite, apparently, so I hear, favorite sci-fi RPG. And I've never before played it. This is my first run through, guys. So whenever people have been talking about the Mass Effect, what do you mean? What is affecting what mass? I don't get it, but now I do. That's how ships move around, okay? And I'm doing a Paragon run in the game, so I'm trying to be evil. And I don't think I've always started this like yeah.
I thought Paragon was good.
Paragon's the good one.
Oh, sorry, Renegade. Sorry, I'm doing a Renegade run. I don't want to be a Paragon. My bad. I've tried to go like Dark Side in Knights of the Old Republic. Like I've tried to be evil in many RPGs, but I always get a little uncomfortable and stray back to the good side. I just don't like being a dick in the games. I don't know. It feels weird. And this one does feel weird. Like there was this girl, an Asari, who got sucked up into this plant that was making zombies. And this plant was cloning her, and I would have to fight clones of her. And then I defeated the plant, and she came out. Basically, she was working with the enemy, Saren, and he traded her to this plant for like secrets of the universe. And I chose the option that was kill her. And then not even in a second, I shot her in the back of the head. I was like, oh my God, dude, that's fucking brutal.
Did you get the secrets of the universe though?
Or she told me where to find him who has the secrets of the universe. They're not secrets of the universe. They're secrets of like telepathic will. Like this plant could affect people's brains and make them work for them. So all I know now is that Saren has this technology or this method.
It sounds like you're trying to be recruited by Scientologists, dude. Just heads up. Be careful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on my run so far, I've shot 3 people in the back of the head. Like it's gotten to the point where like it'll have the screen, the camera will like go off tilt and just focus on me and my gun. And I'm like, here it is again. Shoot some. And there's no warning. Sometimes the first time I shot someone in the back of the head, I chose the dialogue option that was like, you can't come with me or something like that. Like I'll have to leave you here. Switching over, shot in the back of the head. I'm like, oh my God. Jesus.
That is definitely, just to interrupt you real quick, that's definitely one of the things I remember about Mass Effect is the dialogue choices, the way they had it set up with that like wheel of options.
Yeah.
And there's short phrases, and then like the character will say like a whole sentence.
Yeah.
And a lot of them surprised me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So it's still hard to be evil, and I think it's a bit lame too, because I don't know. It just feels wrong. And this plant zombie thing is kind of like the latest big story thing that I've done in Mass Effect, and it's space zombies. And I think space zombies used to be pretty cool, but now that I've listened to The Expanse and how their space zombies are this protomolecule sent by aliens to find a habitable world, turn that world's organic material into a genetic code that collapsed the planet and made an interstellar gate system. That is fucking cool sci-fi zombies. These sci-fi zombies are just like, oh, the plant control is, it's just, I'm over it. I don't want any more sci-fi zombies unless you're going to give me some real creative shit. I think I'm crossing them out on my dartboard of things I don't want to ever see in a sci-fi game again, okay? So sci-fi games, you're on notice. The planet I was on was called Pharos, and do you guys remember the Geth? They have like this organic design elements to all their technology, and it's like super cool. They had this, not caterpillar. What's the precursor to it? No, it's a butterfly. What is grasshopper? It's like a grasshopper ship, and it sticks to this ancient pillar that I was on with these deep claws that went through the structure. And that's how they were docked. They were docked on it like a grasshopper on a piece of grass or something. And basically you go up this spire and you have to blow up the legs on the ship, and then it falls into smithereens. Bottom. Epic. I was like, cool. This is fucking awesome. I love it. Mass Effect has a pretty basic store. I haven't really seen the depth of it yet. You know, I can see things coming from a mile away. And the thing that's kind of keeping me playing it and keeping me hooked is honestly like the kind of cool action scenes and like the scale of what it feels like I'm doing. You know, like I went to this asteroid that was on a collision course with Earth. And when I successfully restarted the engines on the side of the asteroid, that whole asteroid shifted, and like I could see it move off the target of the planet I was going to hit and blow right by it. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. So does the story get better in Mass Effect 2 or 3, or am I just or is this kind of par for the
two
course?
is the one that everybody always goes on about.
Mm-hmm.
That's where, and that is true. That's where it gets really good. I personally liked 3 a lot, but
Controversial.
the ending was controversial.
Yeah.
So I played this. I've told this a million times on the podcast, but I've played this over a summer, just back to back to back, all 3 of them. Did it in about 75 hours, which is very quick. I'll be honest, like some of the boring parts, especially in the first one, I just like looked up a walkthrough and was like, okay, what do I have to do here? And just kind of sped through it. But if you play them like that, it is a great experience. It takes a ton of time. And like anything else that takes so long to get through, like when you've got halfway through it, you kind of forgot the first part, but still it was great. But yeah, 2 is where it gets good.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's also when the gameplay gets better. It's for number 1's more clunky. 2 is more, they lean more into the action of action RPG.
Right.
So the gunplay and stuff feels better in 2.
I do have to admit, I'm using a sniper build, and I'm finding that the game is almost too easy at parts because enemies won't notice me when they should, or they'll get like stuck behind something because I'm firing at them from so far away. So I'll be able to get like 6 shots off as the Krogan's huge body gets stuck on like a small edge of a pillar or something. And it doesn't feel great to do the game that way, but I don't really want to switch from my sniper rifle. What weapon was your guys's like weapon of choice when you were playing through this game?
Dude, I played the most boring way you could possibly play that game.
What is it?
I don't think it's called the soldier class. I think it was something else, but it was basically like generic soldier guy with assault rifle.
Yeah. Perfect.
That was it. It was
point and click. Let's go.
It was the most uninteresting way to play the game, but I thought that it would be very effective, and it was. But the game could have been more challenging or interesting, I think, if I chose a different character or a different class.
I played similarly to both of you, actually, like a mixture. I picked the boring soldier class because I thought it'd be effective, and I didn't really want to get too tied up in the like mechanics of the like pseudo magic system.
Yeah.
Because it seemed kind of lame. But then I ended up just sniping everything anyway, so because it just made it easier.
And you recruit characters on your team that have their own specialization. So I want to say Garrus was a sniper,
right,
in one of the games. Is that even his name? Am I getting that right?
No, his name is Garrus. Yeah,
it is Garrus.
I think I'm trying to fuck him. Oh no, I'm trying to fuck the Krogan. What's the Krogan's name?
Okay.
Krogan.
It might just be Krogan. Rex. Yes,
and then there's Ashley.
Can you? I didn't know that was a romanceable character, but
I'm trying to.
Maybe
we'll see where
everybody
it goes.
in that game is. But yeah, hey, good luck, man.
Their
good luck
whole
getting
thing is their race is dying out because they can't breed, right?
Oh shit! But can they have? Maybe they're not breedable, but they're maybe they still like to fuck. I don't know.
In my run, at the end of all of it, I ended up with, I think, Talia, the one in the gas mask. She was my second choice. Don't tell her that, though. But
I settled for Talia. Okay, cool.
I mean, I was trying to go with the, I don't know, it was like a secretary or like an assistant or something on the ship. But then she's like, no, I'm not into guys. And I was like, all right.
Well,
where'd that gas mask lady go?
It'll just be me and the Miro.
Face.
Is the Miro the fucking land ship? By the way, last time I talked about Mass Effect,
Emilio, the Mako.
Oh, is it the Mako? Emilio,
the car.
Yeah, and Bobby were like, the driving mechanics in that were pissing people off, or that was a point of contention. I think in the Legendary Edition, they've reworked that because that is like some of my most exciting gameplay. Like I'm driving through, I'm shooting. It feels like the end of Halo, Like it feels really good.
They must have
They changed it. Yeah, because it was bad.
That wasn't a popular part of the game.
It was super boring, and it took way too long, and it was clunky.
Really? Yeah.
Dang. It was.
I feel
awful.
like a badass when I'm driving that, and
it was the most tedious part of the first game for me. Was that driving around in the Mako? But
well, cool guys listening. Stay tuned to the next quarter for my next Mass Effect Legendary Edition update. I'm taking notes. Oh, sorry. Go, Taylor. Yeah.
I just have a real quick question for you.
Okay.
In that, so obviously you're complaining a little bit about the story. in terms of like, okay, I've seen this before. I'm tired of space zombies, etc.
Yeah.
But how much of that is the because you're coming to this fresh years later.
Yeah.
How much of that is the effect that Mass Effect had on media?
Probably huge, dude. I
that
think even...
you are like, so like, oh, yeah, this is familiar. Like, oh, this seems trite or tropey because this is the thing that started the trope.
I talked about the proto-molecule from Mass Effect, and I don't know for 100% sure, but I know that the people who wrote that book are big gamers, huge gamers. I would not be surprised if they were inspired by this level, honestly, because, and they just kind of elevated it. I'm sure many people have stood on the shoulders of Mass Effect, and maybe I'm not fairly judging it. And I also think it's because I'm doing this evil run, and I think it's just the less interesting option, you know? Like I see the other dialogue
RPG
options, and I'm like, cool. Every
RPG game, the evil path has less content. It just does, because most gamers like you play it, like you don't want to play bad, and so I think devs just put more effort into the good path.
That wouldn't surprise me. Or more into like the gray options, because oftentimes I'll have like a plethora, but then there'll be one in red that I know is the ultra evil that I only unlocked because I was already so evil, and I clicked that, and I'm like, okay, perfect.
It's kind of like a multiple choice test where you've got like A is like, you know, like it's a math problem. A is a word. You know, it's like oil. Like 3 times 4 equals oil. Or B is like it stands out so much.
Yeah.
Just like, yep, okay, that's the wrong answer.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that was our highlights. Play those games, watch those movies, and let us know in Discord what you think, or what is your game that has stuck with you since childhood and that you still go back to playing. Now we're going to move on to On the Radar, so games that we haven't played or maybe played a little bit of but have caught our attention. And Bobby, is this a VR? Do you have VR capabilities over at the Nouveau Casa?
No, I do not have VR capabilities over here, but I thought I would shout out GORN 2 anyway. So GORN 2 is a sequel to GORN 1. I mean, I don't think they called it GORN 1, but everybody remembers this game.
Yeah.
It is the VR gladiator simulator where you bloodily beat down these other gladiators, and they send waves and waves of enemies at you. And it's
Are you reading from the Steam page, dude? Bloodily beat down, or did you knew you were going to say
I'm working on the alliteration. I'm taking a creative writing class.
Yeah,
it's paying off dividends. But this game is guaranteed to break something in your house because you have to flail your arms about, deflecting arrows, using shields, smashing people with all sorts of weapons. I'm kind of surprised they came out with a sequel. So whenever there's a sequel to a game that was really good, my first question is, what are you doing different? Is it more the same? But there's got to be some justification for the sequel. Mm-hmm. So looking through the Steam page, it seems like the only thing they've added is more weapons, enemies, arenas, traps, power-ups, and a new and improved VR combat system. So I don't know what exactly that all means. Like, it sounds just like they're throwing in more things to a game that was already great, but I guess, whatever, that's cool. It's a good game. I don't want to say this is one of like the best games. Like I think Emilio at one point said this was the best VR game, but that was before we started seeing things like Half-Life Alyx and some of the more in-depth involved VR experiences. This game just came out recently, April 17th. I mean, just a few days ago, but there's only 143 reviews. So it doesn't seem like a lot of people are picking it up, which seems very strange to me considering how well the first one did. I mean, the game is only $20, which for a VR game, that's on the cheaper side, I think. But the first GORN game, I mean, if you look at that, it's got like over 7,000 reviews. Came out from over about 5-6 years ago.
Well, it just came out 2 days ago. Most people aren't going to review it so soon. Most people won't. So maybe we'll see in like the next couple weeks more coming through. But yeah, I don't know. I think VR's in a tough market. Really, like
It's niche, yeah. It's you just
for
aren't
sure.
gonna get that many. I
But
mean, even the
GORN
first
was
one.
definitely a big, like, I've never owned a VR headset, and I've played it a handful of times, and I played GORN. Like, it's one of the few that I think everyone who plays VR has played. Like Beat Saber
really fun
and
game.
GORN and
Yeah, I've played it with Emilio's VR headset, and out of all the VR experiences I've had, it is definitely one of the better ones.
I also played it at Emilio's house, and he was just so giddy. He was like, okay, now try the arrows. Okay, now try the spears. And then he's on the side. He's like, isn't it cool? Isn't it cool? And I was like, yeah, dude, actually, it fucking rules. Like, this game is fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens with GORN too, but I feel like it's just, you see this a lot where there was a really great game. They come out with a sequel, and the sequel just doesn't do nearly as well just because everything's changed. The world around us has changed. We aren't living in 2019 anymore.
You can't pick up Leisure Suit Larry and be respected. It's just not the...
Since you brought movies into this episode with Minecraft, I'm going to relate.
He's defiled this episode.
I'm going to go ahead and bring movies back in and make an analogy to Look Who's Talking and Look Who's Talking 2. Like, Look Who's Talking, the John Travolta and Christy Alley movie, was a like $7 million budget movie that made $370 million in 1987 and was like cultural phenomena. And then they immediately made the second one, and it is terrible.
Well, I mean, it had Gilbert Gottfried, a talking toilet. The third one where the animals start talking is terrible.
That one is...
Yeah. I'm not going to say 2 is great, but it's better than 3.
Oh my God. If you're listening to this, it's just me and you in here now. Okay. They've taken over. The movie buffs have taken over the podcast. Help! I feel like you guys should do something together. I didn't know, Taylor, that you were into the behind the scenes making of movies and were like kind of a movie buff. Is that true?
I am a little bit of a movie buff, yes.
Interesting.
I particularly love bad movies, but I'm currently in a season of schlock. This is my season of schlock right now. I'm going through 60s and 70s drive-in schlock movies. I
don't even know what a schlock is.
It's like...
Is it related to a shtick?
No, it's SCHLOCK.
It's a nice way of saying shit.
Yeah, it's like shit, but it's just this genre of movies. Back in those days, drive-in movies, you know, the only way to watch a movie was to go to a theater. And so they pumped out tons of these like terrible like sci-fi movies, and a lot of them show a lot of boobs, tits and ass, that kind of thing. And, you know, were shown once, you know, like they had a theatrical run and never were released on DVD, you know, because they didn't exist yet. And for whatever reason, Amazon Prime has a ton of them on their service. So I have been doing my homework on 60s schlock because pretty influential on a lot of my favorite directors, those movies.
Damn, you guys should... Is movies on the DL coming back? What's going on? That's cool. Okay. Sorry, one last. Are you on Letterboxd, Taylor? I feel like I haven't seen your movie reviews. Well, so Bobby, when is the Minecraft movie hitting the Robert Digital Letterboxd? When can the people...
Man, I'm so behind on that. I've got 2 movies. First of all, I haven't been watching nearly as many movies since I've moved to this new place. But I'm 2 behind. I've got to add Minecraft and Masters of the Universe to my Letterboxd. So
stay tuned.
Soon.
I made a Letterboxd account, but I never actually did anything with it. I think this is my call. You've activated me, Christian.
It's kind of cool to see what Bobby watches. I put a movie on there whenever I watch one, which is one every 2 months. So you can share your thoughts about what I'm watching, which is just like, you know, normal hits. Like, I don't think anything crazy is on there.
I probably watch a couple hundred movies a year easy.
I don't think I've watched a couple hundred movies in my entire life. I think on Letterboxd I'm at 98. I don't know. I'll have to look. Maybe I'm making that up. For video games, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Delos Space Traffic Control is on the radar. It is a game. What's the best way to describe this game? It's, spoiler alert, you are a space traffic controller. It is exactly, yeah, wild. It's got these like really beautiful cinematics. I don't know, maybe you movie buffs can correct me, but lots of Dutch angles where it feels like someone with a camcorder is like zooming in on something far away. Is that what that's called? No?
Dutch angle is when the camera is askew.
And then a far zoom. Is that just called a far zoom? Anyways, it's a lot like Battlestar Galactica if you've ever watched that sort of cinematography in this game. So it feels like you are observing this from another shuttle, and it's just a cool immersive experience.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're spying or peering in on someone.
Yeah. And it's like I don't know if this is a game type. I'm going to call it a systems juggler, where like you have your station has credits and money. Or sorry, it has credits and power. And some ships bring credits and buy power, and some ships bring power and you buy it with credits. So you're managing these two resource bars in your station, and you have to be careful which ships you direct to land on which platform and what resource types they're actually bringing to your station. And if you fuck any of that up, your station can explode, or the ships that you're directing to these landing platforms can hit each other, and you get 3 incidents before the game is over. So it's basically like some sort of, I don't know, tower defense or time defense where
how long can you last?
How long can you last, exactly. And then the leaderboard goes on the actual website for the game, and the station name, it's like Deep Space Nine. People name their stations all, but it's kind of cool. It's like a community, like, oh, you lasted 9 hours, which seems like an incredible amount of time, because I played this game for 13 minutes and I died at that time. And I was like, that's
that 9 hours
tough.
Would be straight, right?
Yeah, I think it's got to be straight. Maybe
without
you can save, actually. I'm not 100% sure. But an incredible feat, because even in my 13 minutes, the pace of things that was happening was severely increased. So maybe it gets to a point and it plateaus. I don't know, but I lost. And it's made by one person. It's just his passion project. He's been sharing on X his, he pinned the tweet of him first having the idea for the game, and then 2 years later he released it on Steam. I don't know, it's just cool to see that journey, right? And so many people are into it. Even like, this is a very simple game. It's getting a lot of attention over social. It is, I think, a couple bucks, $2.99, $3.99 or something to buy and pick up.
$2.99 on Steam right now.
Yeah, and it's like, it reminds me a lot of Spec, just one guy making like a fun experience that's meant to be enjoyed for maybe a couple hours, see how long you can get. You spend a couple bucks, you have fun. It has a cool skin in it, like a cool sci-fi skin where you're this space traffic controller. And it's on my radar because I want to play more than 13 minutes of it, basically. Oh, and he has a roadmap of things he wants to bring to it. So like station expansions, you can build more platforms, different resource types, different gates coming from different places in the solar system. So if it gets enough attention, maybe he'll add that. But as it stands right now, it's still a fun game to play.
Let's give it that DLG bump.
Bump, 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 bump. And then Taylor, oh my God, do I have a sound for this? I don't have any Star Wars sounds on here. What about this?
Oh no.
Anyways, what's coming?
Oh yes, that famous Star Wars soundbite.
Yeah.
On my radar is really excited. I am super excited. Just before we went live on the show, like earlier today, I DM'd Christian to watch this trailer. I encourage everyone listening to watch this trailer if you haven't yet, for Star Wars Zero Company. This game was announced like last night because it was premiered or like revealed at Star Wars Celebration Japan.
Nice.
During a panel there. So in U.S. time, I don't know what time it was, but the trailer has dropped, and it is awesome. It has it. It starts with a cinematic, like non-gameplay, cinematic portion, and then they show some gameplay as well. There's not a lot of details about this game yet, aside from it that it is a turn-based tactics game, kind of like XCOM, set in the Star Wars universe, towards the end of the Clone Wars period. And that's about all we know. There's not a lot yet because the trailer was released today. But I really, really want to hear what you think about it, Christian, especially.
Okay, well, first of all, Bobby invented the auto battler, and then he birthed this into the world, so he's going to be getting some money, clearly. This is like...
Very true.
My thoughts on this when you sent it to me, Taylor, I agree. The trailer was awesome. And I was I'm going to see Wrecker. I'm going to see the people from the Bad Batch, this beloved Star Wars film or short series that was really good. Like, honestly, I know really it was good for kids, but like it was
way better than it had any right to be.
Exactly. I'm going to see Echo. And then I see these like offshoots, like someone that looks like Cassian Andor, but isn't, someone who looks like the fucking one of the people in Saul Guerrera's company. I can't remember his name, but that type of alien, like an offshoot of that, and an offshoot of R5 as the droid you have, some sort of clone, mysterious clone. I'm like, where are my people? Where are the people? Where are my beloved people? Why aren't they in this game? So they took Bobby's idea and they eviscerated it with maybe the Bad Batch just wasn't as known. Like maybe they did some tests and they were like, oh, people don't actually know what the Bad Batch is. I'm excited, obviously, a strategy XCOM game. That sounds awesome, but I really wish they would have stuck with some of the existing characters, which already, like Bobby's right, you have the sniper, you have the demolitions guy, you have the lead, like you got the team there. So
the setup's there.
Yeah, let's roll with it. Yeah.
I wonder if it's, Big Disney, right? Big Disney says, well, because these characters are going to die in your runs.
Well, is
you
it
can't
like
have
other
Cassian
XCOM
die, right?
Where you just make random characters, give them names,
yeah,
and
you're running,
and you get a new one.
Essentially, the setup seems to be that you're running a mercenary outfit during the Clone Wars period, and then some existential threat to the galaxy arrives, and so uneasy alliances are forged to tackle this. So it's kind of, you're a maverick, you're not Empire, you're not Jedi, Old Republic, and you're not
Separatists,
the Trade Federation droid army. You are kind of in between. So I don't know for sure, I guess, but you are so right. The Bad Batch would have just slotted right on in, and it would have made it more exciting to me.
Yeah.
They tend to do that with Star Wars games, though. They make original characters, and I'm sure there's plenty of examples to the contrary of this, but I feel like recently, Star Wars Outlaws, Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, I mean, they're all creating their own characters, which on one hand, I do want to complain about. It's just like, I don't care about, Zleeblor, it's like, and he's got a little robot companion named Beep Boop Beep 413, and it's just like, all right, give me somebody I know. But then at the same time, I'm just like, Kyle Katarn is the best video game Star Wars character ever. So, I mean, like any other Star Wars fan out there, I am completely hypocritical. And,
I hope this will have beloved characters that
in
we
this
can
game
connect with, though, as well. Like,
I will say, we do know it will be a single player game, unlike XCOM, which did allow you to battle your friends, I believe, or co-op it at one point. Maybe that was a sequel. Anyway, you are playing as a dude named Hawks. Hawks.
Wow. Hawks. Bobby, want to join us?
Kind of like Falcon, but hawk.
Yeah. I don't know. It's Star Wars. I'm going to play this game. It's a strategy game. I mean, obviously I'm going to play it. I do wonder, the galactic threat is interesting to me. Will it be like an offshoot of the Yuzhen Vong or something? Will it be?
That would be too cool. They're definitely not going to do that.
Yeah.
The day the Yuzhen Vong show up in like mainstream modern Star Wars, I will like eat my hat, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Probably not going to happen.
It's too cool.
Yeah. And then Raph Koster was talking about when he was designing Star Wars Galaxies and he had to work with Lucas Arts at the time. Now these guys have to work with Disney, which I imagine is a completely different process. But he was saying that they got all micromanagey about things in the game that didn't sound like it would actually matter. Like George Lucas was like, okay, only have blue, green, and red lightsabers in the game because that's the way we're headed. When in the comics and the books, people had all sorts of colors. And then that affected like their whole production loop. And it threw them for like, untold amounts of work that they had to redo or cancel, only for George Lucas to then say, actually, you can't have a bunch of lightsabers colors. I've changed my mind. And I wonder if putting beloved characters in a Star Wars game creates that type of feedback where the game developers
I'm sure.
Don't have the freedom.
I don't think it completely removes you from it. I can't remember if this was from your interview with him or if it was from something else that I had read, but they were talking about how they were developing a Star Wars game and then George Lucas was like, it's going to be about Boba Fett now. And they were like, well, we've already done all this and we've made this and that and it's going to be about Boba Fett. He's the main character now. And so they had to completely redo everything. I can't remember where I read that, but yeah, it's when you're dealing with something as big as Star Wars or any IP like that, there's going to be limitations on what you can do and a lot of notes from up top. So
someone will mod Wrecker into this
thing.
Game and it'll be fine.
That's what I'm thinking is going to happen is that the mods are going to come out and we will get our Bad Batch fantasy, we'll get to play that game. But
to be honest, I'll be okay without it though. Like I think I'm sold just on turn-based tactics and Star Wars at this point. I'll probably check this one out.
I'm super excited. XCOM was a game that was really good, but frustrating. It had issues. And I am outside of the Star Wars of it all, I'm excited to see what these devs, it's currently, they're saying it's a developer called BitReactor. And I think this is their first major project. And Respawn Entertainment. But I'm really excited to see what their take on this XCOM genre is. Because kind of the last game of this style we had was Marvel Midnight Suns.
Which
and that did cards and kind of changed up the formula a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see what they do to, differentiate themselves from XCOM, from Midnight Suns, etc. The other kind of turn-based tactics games. And if they can overcome that, those little annoying bits that get me where you're 99% hit chance and you keep missing 5 times in a row.
It's random. Yeah, people have yeah. A little bit about BitReactor. On their Steam page, for some reason, it says this is the only game they've made. And I think they might have cleared this up for the launch of this Star Wars game because I know they've worked on Civilization, the original XCOM, Gears of War, and Google is telling me Elder Scrolls Online. So I don't know what happened to their Steam page, but they're a well-known strategy developer.
Okay.
So I think we're in good hands, I guess, is what the summary of that is.
I'm betting they were a secondary like support dev on a lot of these projects and not the lead
person with the creative vision, more about the execution.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah. Cool.
I don't know.
That's it for On the Radar. And I think that was one of the best On the Radars in a long time. Maybe because of Star Wars and Gorn too, but Delos Space Traffic Control is also in there. Subs and plugs, Taylor. Can you tell us what's going on?
All right. Well, DLG Con officially has a date. Mark your calendars, folks. DLG Con 7.0. I don't know why there's a 0.0 because there's never going to be a 0.1. But October 3rd through 6th, 2025. October 3rd through 6th this year in Wisconsin.
That's where they make the cheese. That's the legally only place cheese can be made in America.
The cheese capital of America.
Yeah, it's the capital city. It's just a giant block of cheese. That's where we're staying, right? In one of the
We are
Swiss
coming
holes.
to the Midwest. We're bringing our we've got our smooth San Diegan over here. You know, we've got Amanda being from Detroit. So that's basically Wisconsin, right? I don't really know how it works. I'm from Seattle. So we're bringing our cool PC gaming experience to the Midwest. We want everyone who can make it to come out and join us. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think we're going to be voting on houses pretty soon, so get in the Discord. And we've not done DLGCon in this part of the United States before, so hopefully some listeners who haven't been able to come are able to. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see new faces. Other than the DLGCon date being settled on, we have game night next week with Amanda, or next weekend. So next Saturday, which is the 26th, is game night as well. And then one more little Discord thing is that our newest moderator, Warconius, has started up a new forum section on the Discord for currently it's screenshots, but we're expanding it. It's going to be for all kinds of listener and fan created stuff. So if you have your own media that you want to share with the rest of the community, this is going to be the place to share it.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see, because we have really creative people.
Totally. On Steam, you have the Steam screenshots, which is obviously really good, but the Steam feed doesn't really show you very well, like, what your friends are sharing. And usually you have to have like a product in common. So I see like Bobby's screenshot for like Divinity Original Sin 2 because we both have that game. When I click on that store page, I see that he has the game and I see a screenshot, but it's not really intuitive to see that. And so if you have in-game screenshots for any of the games you've been playing, we'd all love to see them. Basically, head down to the Discord, please share them, because we're not really seeing them on Steam, most likely. If you haven't seen Bobby's character, Robbie, if you haven't seen Bobby's character when we were playing Divinity Original Sin 2 in a root thong, I shared that in that channel. That blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, the elves are wearing root thongs. What else don't I know about the world? Listener questions, Bobby. What do we got?
We've got something interesting this week. So Warconius has some riddles for us. These were created by ChatGPT.
Boo.
The answer to these riddles is a PC game. So I'll read the riddle and you guess what the PC game is. I fought through hell with no remorse, my fists and guns the only force. Demons fall and blood will rain, I double barrel through the pain. 93 gave birth to me, a gateway game for all who see.
Wait, is it Max Payne or is it Doom?
No, this is Doom.
Okay.
This is definitely Doom.
This
Double
is
barrel,
Doom.
Demons, 93. Yeah, it's got to be Doom.
Yeah, the original Doom 93, Doom 2 94. Am I getting that right? But yeah, that's got to be Doom.
Good year.
Bit
The year I
of
was
an
born.
easy one.
It's the year
Second
I
one
was
I think
born.
is a little more difficult. I woke in white, no sky, no sun, my only friend a speaking gun. I pass through doors not made of wood and ponder cake that never stood. I loop, I jump, I fall, I fling. What is this sterile testing thing?
That's Portal, right?
Portal. Gotta be Portal.
Did Portal have a speaking gun?
I don't think it had a speaking gun.
Yeah, I think, okay, this is AI, folks. It's not going to get it 100%.
The gun didn't talk, but there was talking.
Yeah, there was like a robot that talked to you in every single room. Yeah.
My only friend, a speaking gun. Do better, ChatGPT. People pay good money for you.
Maybe the main robot antagonist is the one who created the gun, maybe. I don't know.
That's gymnastics, bro. That's get out of here.
I'm trying to explain an AI hallucination. It's never gonna.
But aren't we all guns, really, when you think about it? So,
I am a gun.
Last one. My world's a trap, a virtual guise, where real is fake and truth wears lies. I dodge the bullets, bend the bars, and leap through glitching falling stars. A red pill shows me what is real, but freedom comes with steely zeal.
Is this just like the Matrix Online? Initially I thought Mirror's Edge, but then it said specifically red pill.
Right. Yeah, no, that is throwing me for a loop here. Bending bars. Dodging bullets is, I think of Max Payne when I think of dodging bullets. But that doesn't seem to line up.
I have to ask ChatGPT, what game do you think this is a riddle for?
That's what I'm doing right now.
My world's a trap, a virtual guise. I think that is probably the key.
All right, so here's what ChatGPT says. Cyberpunk 2077, Super Hot, The Talos Principle, Observer, or The Stanley Parable, or a whole bunch of Matrix games.
I don't know.
But most of those don't have the bullets and I don't know, Steely Zeal. Steely Zeal sounds like a terrible ZZ Top cover band.
We got to end this riddle. I don't think we know. If you're out there and you know, please share. But
ChatGPT, please email us.
Yeah. What were you thinking? Yeah, thanks a shit, John. Yeah.
Okay. Last question we have. This is one I believe we missed, so sorry about that. This is from Nyanko. In movies and TV, how often do you see a character playing a video game? We have answered this one. I recognize this. We're going to answer it again, folks. I don't know if you guys are here for this one. Has it gotten even more frequent in recent years than 10 years ago? What genres are used? Is it always a violent game or only when they want to suggest that the character needs to release tension or control impulses or something like that? How often is the game really part of the story, like an episode of the series Mr. Robot? Will they ever attempt something as bold and cool as launching an MMO and a TV show in the same universe at the same time for a new IP like they did with Defiance? Yes. I believe this question was asked when it was only Emilio and I on the podcast, so you guys now have a chance to answer this.
So episode 3 of Black Mirror. Wait, this has come out, right? The new Black Mirror has come out. Has anyone seen this?
I have not.
Black Mirror. 1 second as I confirm. Oh, got it. Yes. So the new season of Black Mirror that's just released, in episode 3, there is someone on screen playing Balatro for about 45 seconds. And people are criticizing the strategy and the run of the play.
They're analyzing their Balatro choices.
Because it's on screen for quite a long... I mean... I think it's a conversation where the camera is changing, but the total time that Balatro is on screen is around 45 seconds. So you can kind of get a sense of his run. So that I think is kind of cool, but I can't really remember. I don't have a good example of the last time I saw a video game in a piece of media.
So like, I'm thinking this is have you heard of the word diegetic?
Well, yes, we had a community discussion all about diegetics, if that's a proper word to use.
I don't know if that is a proper word to use, but I think, it's this is video games being diegetic to the story. So, I mean, other than things like Tron, where it's about a video game.
Oh, I see. Right. So it's like Sword Art Online, where like the video game is a part of the universe, and
right. Yeah, like the video game is the plot of the thing. Just seeing someone playing video games. I think I saw that very recently in a Netflix series. It's that horror Netflix series, The Fall of the House of Usher.
Haven't seen it.
I don't know. It's popular horror series on Netflix. Check it out. It was like 10 episodes. Pretty good. One of those guys was a game developer, so we got to watch him play Xbox sometimes or something. He was like yoked.
I watched this AMC, and I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, this AMC animated series that I'm not going to remember the name of, but it was about
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was about the AI.
Yeah.
These.
Oh my gosh.
What did they?
I'm blanking on the name. It starts with a P.
We'll never tell you. You'll have to find it out there.
So
That's
good,
my revenge to you
really
for listening to this
it.
podcast. It was so good. And basically, they would upload people who were about to die's consciousness to the neural net, and through a video game MMO that the dad and daughter played is how the dad ended up contacting the daughter after he had died and been uploaded in the computer, and that was kind of cool. Because the MMO part was like actiony and like kind of awesome. Like it was really well
and it was well researched. It was like obviously from people who knew MMOs. If you liked that series, I would highly recommend checking out Undone on Amazon Prime.
Okay,
it's a rotoscope show, not about video games. But if you like that concept, you'll like this one.
I love that. That was one of the best short series. I think there's like 6 episodes or 7 episodes that I had seen in a long time. Can't remember the name though. Sorry about that. All right. Next episode, what are we all playing? And of course, our next episode is brought to you by none other than the man, the myth, John Vogel. Thank you for being... John, thank you for being our Support the Show Plus member, our only member and Support the Show Plus, which means we shout you out every episode. It's $15 a month. Some people on this podcast, when I'm not on, call you an executive producer. That's actually the tier above this one. Whatever. Maybe we can promote you there. At this point, we should. But thank you for your support, John.
How about we make him assistant to the executive producer?
I like that. I like that a lot. And I think he deserves that.
Yeah.
Next episode or next week, I'm going to be playing either Blue Prince, which is kind of this game that's taken the video game world by storm, I think. And Taylor had it on his radar a couple weeks ago, or SnowRunner, that driving sim where you have to, back people out of the ditch, and realistic driving physics game where you puzzle solve as a vehicle. So either or, I have both of them in my Steam library, both downloaded. We'll see what piques my interest. Bobby, what are you playing?
Well, there is a Deep Rock Galactic Easter event that I've been meaning to check out. Also, I think there might be another playtest coming up for Sand. I'm not sure. I got to check up on that. And then who knows? Who knows?
You mentioning Sand just brought up this whole... we had this whole conniption fit with everyone getting Steam hacked for a Sand playtest, but
oh yeah, that was a dark day on our Discord.
That
server.
that was an interesting day on Discord. If you want to know more about what that's like, come join our Discord. But I promise there are instructions to get your Steam account unhacked.
Yeah.
Next week,
you're not really a member of our Discord until you get hacked. I think actually is, yeah.
Next week, I'm going to be playing RuneScape Dragon Wilds.
Exciting.
I am actually
so stoked.
Unironically excited about this.
Nice.
Myself and Amanda are both super stoked on this one. I'm not even into crafting survival games that much, but looking at it, it looks like it's got building mechanics like Valheim, and it's in RuneScape. I'm excited. It's going to be cool.
It's a lot of content creators are playing it right now. I think they sent early keys to a lot of people, and from what I've seen, it looks really fun. Like people are like, "Yep, this is good."
I'm wondering if maybe like if we have a producer for us here at DLG that would be the person to get us those
that would be
keys
wild.
at a time. That'd be really cool. I don't know who's in charge of that.
I'll talk to someone. Maybe we can make it happen. I'll talk to someone who can run that on the DLG side, of course. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Who's going to close this episode? Not me. I've talked too much. Bobby, he just did listener questions. Maybe Taylor, do you want to close us down?
All right. Well, speaking for myself, Christian, and Bobby, I'm going to go ahead and say today is space titties, because there's a lot of space games.
I know this has been the outro for so long because I lost my Adobe Premiere Pro subscription. Sorry about that. Awesome video game music will soon grace us.
Yeah.
Unique to every episode.
Should have gone out on
Venga
League of
Boys.
Legends song.